Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about The Bad Guys 2. This is 2025 animation, a sequel of The Bad Guys 1. Link in the description. I've done a review on The Bad Guys. Highly recommend you check that out before you start this one. Directed by Pierre Perifel. He obviously did The Bad Guys 1 as well, but nothing else, which is so strange. He has like no background basically, and he did these so well, you know. Returning voice acting cast is Sam Rockwell, Zozu Beats, Aquafina, and Craig Robinson. Sam Rockwell has played in Moon. Zozu Beats has played in Bullet Train. Aquafina you can find in Migration. And Craig Robinson, well, I know him from Mr. Robot and other things like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Really good show. New voice acting cast, Daniel Brooks and Natasha Lyonne. Daniel Brooks I know from the Minecraft movie and Orange is the New Black. Natasha Lyonne also from Orange is the New Black and Russian Doll. All the movies I've mentioned basically is stuff that I have reviewed before, so I highly recommend you check them out in the description if you need any background. Sorry if I didn't mention all of the voice acting talent. There is a lot to go around. So, what's the movie about? It starts off with a flashback to the past where the bad guys perform another heist. It hard cuts to modern day where they are definitely a lot more miserable. So now the bad guys are good guys. They've turned their life around. And the bad guys are looking for jobs. They're applying for jobs. Wolf drives a shitbox instead of his muscle car. Tarantula has a tattoo. And worst of all, Snake is a hipster. Oh my god. No, I'm kidding. It's not all that bad. Diane is still the governor. But her and Wolf are friend-zoned. Yeah, maybe it's actually pretty bad, guys. Now, this lady is the commissioner, the police officer. And the bad guys are bored. So they start helping her solve a new crime spree from a mysterious new villain. This villain is a copycat of the bad guys, which is ruining their reputation as they try to become good guys again. They suspect the villain to strike next at a luchador tournament. Here, they meet Snake's girlfriend, Susan. They are the overly PDA couple. They're all over each other, the pet names, they make out in front of everyone. I'm not a fan, but I'll bring it up again later. We also see a potential villain in the Pig Luchador, and once again, the bad guys are framed for a heist. Weird, huh? Disappointingly, we saw this coming. The pig has a boss, which is less disappointing and more interesting. So, I personally saw this next twist coming. Susan is a double agent and captures the bad guys, obviously. They were captured by even badder guys. What's badder than bad guys? Girls, of course. So, it's a team of female criminals. The Pigtail, Susan, who is actually Doom, and Kitty Cat, the leader. Side note, Doom has a name that's way too cool for her, so I'll just refer to her as Susan from now on. I'm also going to refer to the team of female villains as the Bad Girls. It makes sense, okay? Bad guys and bad girls, right? So the bad guys are blackmailed to help the bad girls with one last heist. So Diane wants to help find the villains, and she visits Marmalade in prison, and this guy is fucking yoked. This man is a meathead. Absolutely shredded. In his words, swole. Marmalade tells Diane about Kitty Cat, but that's to be discovered either way, you know. So bad guys and bad girls crash a wedding as their next heist. Of course, it starts going wrong, and it spirals hilariously. Then the heist plot twist genius of the bad guys gets the job done. Nice, classic heist stuff. Heist is done. Now it's time for everyone to sit around the campfire and get cozy. Kitty Cat tells Wolf how good the villain life is and questions why he retired if he was so good at being a villain. This is not brought up again, but remember this because I'll tell you more about it later. Diane catches up and the bad girls fight her. Really cool. Long story short, about the bad girls heist, they take a rocket into space. Of course, the bad guys and Diane go up and sneak on board. So obviously they want the finale in space, right? So while in space, the bad girls build a space gun. Long story, I won't explain everything. Eventually the bad guys defeat the bad girls. Diane and Wolf kiss. Hell yeah, finally. But they're still in space. And the space station falls to Earth and they all die. They even hold a funeral for the bad guys and Diane. Dang, dark ending, huh? Jeez. Luckily the bad girls survived to get arrested. Wait a minute. Of course everyone survived. Duh. The criminals are put away and the bad guys become secret agents. Hell yeah. And Diane joins them permanently, I guess. She's just there the whole time, so I guess she's part of the crew now. And that's the end. So, I really liked the first Bad Guys movie. Again, review in the description about my thoughts. But basically, it shook up all of these fairy princess Disney movies by showing us villains turning good in this Spider-Man multiverse style of animation. It's just really such a nice movie. Bad Guys 2 is still just as slick and creative in this movie. However, like every sequel ever created, say it with me, it's never as good as the first one, right? Before we jump into any negatives, first off, the animation quality is amazing. Some highlights include a cop driving over the horizon with those heat waves and the sunset, like in the first scene with the flashback heist. Stunning. The bad guys make it to space, and all the space shenanigans look really beautiful in space and all that stuff. There's something new in here as well. Cartoon freeze frames. You know, those like classic thick line, hand-drawn stuff. Interesting addition, but I like it. The story is decent as well. This reminds me a lot of Despicable Me. Gru is a villain. He turns good, but still does some heists and undercover things to fight supervillains in the next movie. Same thing here. The bad guys go fight supervillains by doing more heists, go to space, become secret agents. Wait, Gru also became a secret agent. Conspiracy theory. Anyway, so we've seen these ideas before. It's good because this sets up more sequels. Now that they're agents, they have access to whatever they want. They can fight whatever crazy villain in the future, set up how many ever heists they want. It's a good idea, right? But the charm of the first movie is now gone. It can't be a redemption story if the bad guys are framed again. Then they save the day again. They were good the whole time again. One amazing thing about the first movie too are the plot twists. And there's only like one plot twist here, and that's the new villain, which barely counts as a twist because, I mean, they're setting up who's the boss like they mentioned it, right? So it doesn't really count. The rest is very predictable. You know, like Susan trying to be Snake's girlfriend to really lure them in, obviously, you know. And the villain in question is Kitty Cat. In the final scene, she turns out to be a tyrannical leader, and the bad girls turn on her in the end because she's such a horrible person. The team seemed pretty tight, so I don't know where this came from. Yes, they called her boss, but there was no indication of any cruelty or mistreatment in the team. But you know what's most disappointing? In the beginning, the flashback cuts from Wolf driving his really nice muscle car after the successful flashback heist to him driving a really shitty car in traffic. The villain life was so fun in comparison, right? Kitty Cat even mentioned this as well, and you can see Wolf thinks about this. He even asked the other bad guys if being good was a mistake. Shouldn't they go back to the bad life, you know? This only took up a few minutes total of screen time and was never brought up again. But why not lean into that? Make that a plot twist. I don't know who in the team we would have to sacrifice to be a new villain, but someone could turn like Snake did in the previous movie, you know? But it could have been interesting. The first movie discussed being a good guy, but here the bad guys are miserable being good. Someone should have regretted it and worked with the bad girls or something. But you could argue that they're repeating things because there's already been a betrayal in the team in the first movie. I don't know. Let me know what you think, but there's no like big twist like there was in the first one. I mentioned twists again. Other notes, there are still fart jokes with Piranha. I'll take it. The kids need something stupid and hilarious to laugh at, right? But I absolutely hate Snake and Susan's relationship. Very cringe with the PDA and the pet names and making out. I brought up Despicable Me. Something like Gru and Lucy. They obviously love each other and they still don't make everyone around them want to throw up, you know? The music is fun too. There's a Cardi B song, which I hated personally. Otherwise, all good. I can't really complain that much. Voice acting is also really good. The new cast did just as good as the old cast. So with all that being said, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. The art style is great, story is decent, but I'm going to rate this lower than Bad Guys 1 because it's just not the same. That's what happens with sequels though. They're never as good as the originals, always. So if you like heist movies, animations with some solid action, or just something to throw on for the kids, this movie is for you. Side rant. During the flashback heist, at some point they released some chickens in cages. This makes me wonder what animals are sentient in this universe. I mean, the previous movie had Mr. Marmalade, but other guinea pigs were not sentient and they were still stupid like animals. And these chickens, why aren't they, any of them sentient? I mean, it can't be smaller creatures that are sentient and like the bigger ones like the wolves are sentient, because Tarantula is tiny. What are the rules about this universe? I need to know. I need to find out what's going on. Anyway, I mean, it is just anthro stuff. I think in Zootopia, I think just the fish are still there. Like, fish people aren't really a thing. Anyway, weird stuff, huh? That's all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.